When the VMAX VX2 Pro first launched, it quickly became one of our favorite electric scooters under $1,000. One of the other hosts on this channel, Paul, did the original review for this product, but for the past 4 or 5 months, I've been riding this to be able to give it a long-term review. It'll also be fun to give my personal impressions of it and what I like and dislike about this product. I'll also tell you how it's held up over the past 4 or 5 months with regular use and even a crash, and I'll tell you how it stacks up against the other sub $1,000 scooters that I really like right now. Let's give a quick specs rundown for those of you who haven't seen our original review. This is a 48-volt scooter, and this is the GT version, so this has the 16 amp hour battery. This has a maximum payload of 287 pounds, so even heavier riders should feel comfortable on this. This can do an incline up to 28%. And has a claimed top speed of 24 miles an hour. It's IPX6 water resistant, made of aluminum, and has a front drum brake and rear regen braking. This weighs in right around 45 pounds, and you get 10-inch front and rear tubeless pneumatic tires. So what makes this scooter special? What makes it stand out against the competition? Well, first off, the acceleration is super impressive. It's acceleration up to 15 miles an hour, some of the fastest acceleration we've ever tested at the price. Its top speed is also one of the fastest top speeds we've tested at the price. Its range is also impressive. It is such an efficient scooter and it goes extremely far on a single battery. I obviously love the sleek matte black design. The small downside is that it does look like pretty much every other scooter in their lineup, but it's not that big of a deal because, you know, once you're on the scooters, you can tell the difference between them. I also love the simple folding mechanism, you know, just being able to just click that down, you've got the extra safety lock, and then it just, boom, clicks into place. I think this is something that we've kind of come to expect at the price, but it is really nice to see a relatively new brand come in and get that right away. You also get that nice big color center display, and you also get the bright turn signals. I do think turn signals are becoming a little bit more standard at the price, but it is still really nice to see those. And it's nice to see ones that you can see well from both the front and the back, especially if you're riding at night. The riding platform is nice and big. Now, you don't get a rear tail like you do with some of the other scooters at the price, but I think there's plenty of space where it doesn't really affect the riding comfort. It also still stays relatively compact to the point where you can just, you know, fold it down and stick it in the back of any car. You don't need to worry about it being too heavy or too large for someone to lift up and store away. Okay, so I think I touched on everything that I wanted to go over again. Let's jump on it and let's talk about my long-term impressions and the general riding quality of this scooter. So to me, the main appeal of this being a fantastic long-term scooter is how solidly it's built. Now, there are some scooters that have suspension at the price, and in some cases I do wish I had some suspension, but you're trading moving parts for a more reliable, stable build in the long term, and I think that's where this scooter shines. And a lot of my favorite scooters under $1,000 don't have suspension for that reason. It's not that suspension isn't useful, but relative to the extra weight and extra moving parts and extra thing to maintain, it can be really nice to just, you know, not have to worry about those things. You know, you're not getting, suspension doesn't make as big of a difference on these, you know, around $1,000 scooters like this. The other obvious big appeal of this scooter is how quick it is. For a single motor scooter, this is outputting an insane amount of power, and it just gets up to 15 miles an hour so quick. And then it also has the top speed on top of that. It's got that top speed of 24 miles an hour around there. All this while giving you really great range and while keeping it in a nice compact, slim form factor. I also love how easy it is to control. You know, the longer you use a scooter like this, the more you can appreciate the small things. And this is one of those scooters where, like, I know I'm going to have a lot of fun when I take it with me, but I also don't have to worry about it being an awkward fit. You know, I have a truck, but it's nice when I can just stick a scooter on the back seat of my truck instead of having to like strap it down in the bed of the truck or whatever. And this is one of those scooters that really balances that well. It really rides that line in between portability and speed and fun. Let's give this a quick 0 to 15 mile an hour test with draggy. I'm about 200 pounds for reference. So you'll be able to accelerate more quickly than me if you're less than me, and it might be a little bit slower if you're more heavy than me. But the nice part is that with its rider weight up to close to 290 pounds, I think even people up at that 290 will still enjoy how fast this scooter is. It's not going to bog it down as much as it would other scooters under $1,000. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. And 15 already. It is one of those scooters that when you first get it out of the box, you're almost like, whoa, I did not expect it to be that fast. But it doesn't stay that way. It doesn't stay as something that's like uncontrollable. You know, it'll throw you off initially how fast it is, but then once you get used to it, you're like happy. You're glad that it's got that much power and that you can zip around so fast. Yeah, 0 to 15 of 3.6 seconds with a 200-pound rider. That is quite quick. One aspect where this extra power really shines is in hill climbing, and under $1,000, having something that reliably climbs even the steepest hills is pretty uncommon. You know, more scooters are coming out that are offering that power, but this is kind of the top of that list when it comes to under $1,000 scooters that are gonna have no problems with hills. So let me show you, this is a 10% grade hill, and I'll show you that it literally accelerates all the way up this hill. So 3, 2, 1. Ooh, I wheelied. It sometimes throws you off how powerful this thing is. Okay, ready, 3, 2, 1. Accelerating 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, you can see it's accelerating the whole way up the hill, which is something we usually only see dual motor scooters do. A lot of these times, these single motor scooters will kind of plateau really quick. They'll kind of plateau around that like 10 to 11 mile an hour mark and like crawl up the hill, but that thing just, you know, ate it up. So let's talk about kind of the elephants in the room. The two big ones to me are the fact that you can get a Segway Max G2 for the same price, and you can get New's new KQi 300X for this same price. Now, both of those do have suspension, and that is something to consider. If you're someone who rides in a really bumpy area, I think you will appreciate the suspension. However, I still think this is the quicker scooter, even with the 300X kind of being a faster scooter now, and you know, being an upgrade over the old KQi 3 series. I still think this is the quicker scooter, and what I like is that they've kept the thumb throttle with this scooter, whereas the KQi 300 series has that twist throttle, which I don't like as much. It also goes back to that core point of, you know, long-term reliability over extra features. And that's not to say that the other scooters aren't reliable, but I do think this has an advantage in terms of being a very simple, straightforward scooter. You know that you're never gonna have to worry about maintaining suspension. If you're the type that uses your scooter daily and you're also a busy person, you're the type of person who feels like, well, I don't know if I have the time to take care of it, or maybe I don't have the willpower to take care of it. This excels in being a scooter that is so low maintenance. Also, the drum brakes also really add to that. You're not having to adjust disc brakes. You know, you do lose a little bit of stopping power, but even with this being a drum brake, you still get really reasonable stopping power, even up at the top speeds. So I do like that VMAX is kind of saying, they're putting their foot in the ground, and they're saying, we are maintaining that low maintenance, straightforward approach with our scooters, and you can decide whether that simple, straightforward approach fits your needs. And if you want something that has that suspension and has the more plush feel, then you can go for that. That's still an option. So in my time using this scooter and also using all of VMAX scooters, that's what's really stood out to me, is that they're the kind of scooters that can sit up on, my shelves, or they can sit in the garage for a while, and I know that when I grab them and pull them down from the shelves, I won't have to do much to them. I know that I just can check the tire pressure and then they're good to go. The other thing is that I did get in a little bit of a crash with this scooter, and it was my fault. I wasn't doing proper form, and I wasn't prepared for a bump that hit, and I fully wiped out on this thing, and it had no issues after. I literally picked it up, dusted it off, and it just had no issues. So there's just another checkbox checked for the reliability of this thing and the solid build of this thing. And so I really don't think you can go wrong with this. I think this is a scooter that, if you're concerned about having something that's going to last you a long time, there's not going to be any of those concerns with this. So hope you enjoyed this kind of casual long-term look at the VMAX VX2 Pro. Again, I think this is a fantastic scooter. You can check it out down below at the links in the description. If you want to support the channel, that is the best way to do it. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay frosty.